Welcome back to Sports Dump, Lewis County's only sports podcast, sponsored by Elam's Home Furnishings and Mattress Gallery, Goebel Septic, and Americool Heating and Cooling. I'm Aaron Vantile, joined by the Chronicle sports crew, Dylan Wilhelm and Kody Kristen. Zach Martin is on his way, and filling in until he gets here, Chronicle executive editor Eric Schwartz. What is this, a crossover episode?
I am here to hold the line on Iowa and 2B volleyball. I think we need more of it. There hasn't been enough of it this week. Neither was there enough last week.
Do you want to talk about bicycles or horses or corn? All of the above?
These are all his favorite topics. I'll hit them as they are appropriate along the way.
Are you pro punting?
Very
punt
pro
guy?
punting. There's nothing more beautiful in the game of football than a real nice, deep, high punt.
Yeah, it really sets the tone for a shitty game
Like
you're
to
about
get
to
some
watch.
elevation on those bad boys.
It was another great week of grid picks and another great week on the gridiron. Shall we go through grid picks first? How do we? I always forget what the order is here.
Does this mean I get to be on grid picks this week?
You can make Zach's picks.
Yeah.
They're always kind of.
I think he's in last place. So.
Yeah, he's let's see.
Chad. If you
don't count
54 and
Chad, yeah.
25.
Oh, yeah. Chad is irrelevant.
Dylan, regretful pick, taking Coopville over Adna.
Ruined his Rochester over Montesano pick.
I just cancel out. I'm cool with it.
You would have had a perfect week last week. Everybody picked Montesano over Rochester except Dylan, who stuck by his guns. Dylan, you picked Rochester to win the 1A Evergreen. How you feeling about that?
Pretty good.
Yeah?
That was the one that they needed to get. And now as long as they don't, lay an egg the next couple weeks against Tenino and Hoquiam, two teams that they should beat, knock on wood, that should pan out.
Was
All right.
Monty having like a rough night, or do you think they were really just outplayed by a better team?
I think they were having. I think it was a little bit of both. Like Rochester forced their hand offensively. They played really tight coverage. Monty only completed one pass all game. There were, it was pretty muddy and there was a lot of wind, so I'm sure that also played into it. But I mean, Montesano only scored 6 points offensively, so you have to tip your cap to the Rochester defense as well.
And me and Dylan were only there for the fourth quarter. So
That's all that mattered.
yeah.
You saw the best part.
We were at separate games, and then we saw the score of that game, and we both made
Immediately
the
pivoted.
journey at halftime as fast as we could. We made it for the fourth quarter. Glad we did.
Great coverage, guys. Great on the fly thinking there.
Yeah.
So we'll start with last week's roundup with the Swamp Cup. Week 7's Game of the Week, sponsored by Home Carpet Warehouse and Cabinets and the Farm Store. Speaking of the Farm Store, Schwartz, you heard about this? They got some door-busting deals to check out.
The farm store?
Yeah.
Are they a sponsor? I didn't know they were a
Yeah.
sponsor.
Yes.
I'm out of my element here.
They sponsored the game of the week.
Oh, they have
Yeah.
new ownership as well, partial ownership. Isn't it your boy, Kody?
This is my boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My boy Doc Humphrey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that why he sponsors the podcast?
Slashing deals.
Heard you were a sports dump guy, and he's like, I got to get in on that.
Honestly, the sponsorship happened the same time they took ownership, so probably.
Oh, hell yeah.
Sales are booming.
he was on the news dump.
Yeah, I remember.
Don't you guys remember?
I recall.
He does it all. He's chief of the junior livestock auction too.
Busy guy.
Yeah.
So WFS beat Centralia 49-0 to win the Swamp Cup for the 16th year in a row. Kody, anything you want to say?
I wasn't there.
Uh-huh. Anything you want to take back from last week's podcast?
Maybe issue an apology for what you said about his boy.
Yeah. those threats you made?
My theory, okay, I didn't make any threats.
You sounded like a threat.
There were no threats made.
Anyway, moving
And
on.
my theories,
Maybe we should just
had I
sit
made a
this one out,
threat
Chief.
and it was a theory, they'd be technically correct because WFS did win again.
Just doubling down on those threats.
And Centralia still has not won since your son has been alive.
It's
Just saying.
I promised the newsroom that when the day comes that Centralia defeats WF in football, they get at least the first 4 pages of the A section.
sure.
And a commemorative
Photos, analysis.
edition on Wednesday.
Like a magazine type thing?
Yeah,
for sure.
It'd be a program.
Yes.
Anyway, Gage Rumfield had another great day. He threw
day.
for 2 touchdowns, ran in another, returned a punt for a touchdown to build his all-state case.
I believe it was Gage Brumfield committed to Eastern.
I was going to say
ago.
that was his second best day of his week last week.
okay.
The other was being accepted at Eastern Washington University.
I think he's going to play linebacker.
They're better than
though.
their 2-5 record.
Gage's mother
Gage is
posted
going to turn it around.
his mom
Don't you
posted
worry.
a picture of Facebook of their house pet getting its nails. Do you know what their house pet is?
Huh.
It's a pig.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, every time
Like a
I'm
mini
hell.
pig or
No, it's
full size?
It's a big pig.
just Lives in the house?
Just hanging out in the house, getting his nails done.
I had a
What?
neighbor who had a pet
Yeah.
pig and it got loose, and we had to like try to corral him at the bus stop. That was an interesting day.
Well, at least he didn't climb up a tree and just scream like the parrot.
In Spanish.
That's a news dump reference.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the pig speaks English or Spanish. We'll have to check with that. But yeah, the pig
he
cracked
probably
me
just
up.
speaks
That
Very
pig
cool.
should be on the sidelines, in my opinion.
They should.
Little
I mean,
live
it worked,
mascot.
Little live mascot.
it worked
yeah.
in Varsity Blues. People forget that.
And you could put some like Bearcat whiskers on it.
Why don't
Yeah.
we just get a bearcat down there? How come that hasn't
That's
been
a
Pig
done?
little-
dressed as a Bearcat would be the more appropriate
lot funnier.
mascot.
All right, so the notes now want me to ask Zach how he liked his first Swamp Cup.
I enjoyed it. It was a great time. There wasn't enough punting on behalf of WF West, but Centralia, they did plenty. So there you have it.
All right.
How was the popcorn?
Popcorn, I give it, let's see, I'm going to put myself in Zach's head here. I give it a 5 out of 10. I've had the popcorn there at Tiger Stadium. This season, it was a soccer game. And
Really?
it was okay. A little salty, a little dry for my taste.
They do that so you purchase a beverage.
Yeah, that's true.
Make more money.
I will say that the concessions were quite reasonable.
Oh, there we
Good.
go.
Outside of the Swamp Cup, the biggest story of Friday night was in Rochester. We've already touched on this, but the Warriors upset Montesano 16-12 in a gritty, muddy game. Dylan and Cody were there in time for the fourth quarter. When was the last time Rochester beat Montesano? Did we hear like 20 years ago?
It's 20 years.
20 years. They haven't played since 2009, so it's not like they've lost 20 in
Yeah.
a row, but 20 years since they beat Montesano. And if they do end up winning league, it'll be their first league title since 1999, according to coaches on the sideline.
I want to say the last time they beat Montesano, like Bob Woolen was probably the coach.
It was like Terry Jensen's third year at Montesano.
Yeah.
He left in 2002.
All right.
Yeah, so I was at PWV and Cody was at Toledo, and it was pretty early on. The fact that it was even a close game, we were like, all right, let's head there. I had to leave PL like 4 minutes into the second because Rochester games are so quick because they just run the ball 50
Yeah,
times.
not a lot of time stoppage.
So I didn't see much of PWV before I had to leave. Got there probably early fourth.
I left like a few minutes into the second quarter in Toledo, and it was start of the fourth by the time I got to Rochester. This is how quick the game was going.
Really quick. It was done just after 9, maybe. I mean, we're talking 2 hours.
And when I was pulling in, there was a bunch of cars leaving. So I was like, oh, great. It's a blowout. I wasted the drive. And I get out of the car and I see the scoreboard, and it's like, I think 16-14 or 16-12.
16-12, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, what? Why? All these people just don't appreciate good football. They can't stand in the rain a little bit.
Speaking of the weather, shout out AJ Easley, the Rochester coach. He had me ready to run through a brick wall. His post-game speech at the end, he walks up and I'm trying to take a video, but the wind was so bad you can't hear anything. And his first sentence, very calmly, is like, "How about that, guys?" And my first thought was, oh, he's a little more calm and like a little more, relaxed than I thought he'd be. Like, this is a big win. 10 seconds later, when God woke up and created the game of football, this is what he was talking about. It's muddy, it's bloody, it's tough. We don't have the fancy fields. We don't got all that, but we got heart. And
Hell yeah.
the guys were fired up. I was fired up, and I don't even,
Such a just
somebody
the,
there.
Just the absolute classic banger of a
Yeah.
speech you get before you play at Rich School. So good.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's pretty good. All right. Let's see. What else do we need to go through here? Outside of the Swamp Cup was Montesano Rochester. Sorry, I was looking at some stats on my desktop. There weren't many surprises anywhere else in the 1As and 2As. Black Hills beat Elma 23-14. Tumwater beat Aberdeen 55-0. And Tenino beat Hoquiam 36-7. Is Tenino back?
I don't know. Hoquiam's not very
Okay.
good.
When do they play Rochester?
That's
This week.
This weekend? Man, what a week.
We'll get
Yeah, man.
a lot of
what-
games.
we got
We've just
Josh
been-
going to that one.
Oh, great. So, Mr. Kirschenbaum? I love it.
I don't know if
Yeah.
you've listened to the last 4 sports dumps, but we've just been previewing
This is the week
8.
we've been
yeah.
waiting for.
No, I'm excited about
building
it.
up to this.
I'm excited.
All right. In the 2Bs, Adna dominated Coopville 55-13, much to Dylan's chagrin.
It was 6-6 early, and then
Ran away with it.
yeah.
Bo Miller continued to make his all-area case. He ran for 287 yards. Jesus. And 3 touchdowns on 23 carries. It's at like 12
It's the
a pop.
Onalaska stat line, yeah.
Luke Money added 97 yards and 2 touchdowns. Nayland Ramirez ran for 63 and a touchdown. Zach talked to Aaron Cochran after the game.
Of all the weeks for all the coaches to call Zach, I didn't talk to a single coach. They all called him.
Cody, what do you think Aaron Cochran said?
He probably said that the boys played hard and
Just got out there and executed, They're not taking anybody for granted out there.
Yeah,
I do remember. Oh, go ahead.
It wasn't. It probably said it wasn't much of a matchup. They got to look forward and be ready to play better teams.
Yeah,
I remember reading the doc. That's actually exactly kind of how he rounded it out. Obviously, proud of him. Still some work to do. Very, Saban, Belichick-y. It's like,
looking forward to get back to league games next week.
No AJ easily banger one-liners out at Cochran.
All right. PL Valley took care of business against Forks. They beat the Spartans 34-6. Eric Schwartz, how do you feel about that?
I don't really have a problem with it. Not a huge fan of the direction of the program up in Forks.
Oh,
you are
he's switching up.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Forks alum.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not a fan. I could go
He was
into
a
it.
Forks. Was it all league lineman, right? Forks.
I was a all-league honorable mention designated hitter in baseball, and there was only 2 of us. The other one was all-league.
You were in football?
No, I played football. I just was never all anything.
You told me you were all league in football.
No, I didn't. I told you I played center. I would never claim that. I was 160 pounds.
For baseball, was there a second team or was it?
No.
Okay.
I simply made honorable mention.
I just wanted to make sure there wasn't a first team and then a second team and then you were still honorable mention.
No, but I think it was like the very start of everyone makes the team type years because I had no business on there.
I walked into your office because we were talking about
I'm sorry you misheard, Cody.
Well,
I would never
I'm just
claim
giving
such a
I'm just
thing.
giving the listeners context.
Not all
here.
of us
I
could
walked
be all
into
league
your
linemen,
office.
Cody.
I walked into his office. I'm not trying to brag about my second team all league lineman status, but I did.
bragging that you would be great in the casket.
Yeah, we were
races
talking
in
about the Bucota casket races and how
Save it for news dump. Come on,
the
guys.
Chronicle team. All right.
We're recording in a half an hour.
God, sorry. Never mind.
The biggest play of the day came right before half when PL Valley, again, we were talking about PL Valley Forks.
Well, you brought up Forks.
Recovered a squib kick with 6 seconds left, which led to a 31-yard touchdown pass from Nate Fluke to Blaine King. The Titans have won 4 in a row after the midseason coaching change. They're tied with Napavine atop the C2BL West.
That's another banger this week.
And Zach talked to Josh Seymour after the game. He said he was happy with the great execution from Nate Fluke and Blaine King and their 4-game winning streak. And things are looking up in PL Valley. And Josh Seymour, of course, knows Napavine quite well. He was previously an assistant coach there, I want to say.
Does this give PWV
Is that game
upper
this
hand?
week too?
That game is
PWV
this week too.
Napavine?
It is.
In Menlo.
Can you believe it?
Napavine by 40.
You want to cover that one?
No, I will be at the WF West game.
Napavine, meanwhile, easily handed a Waco 51-14 thanks to a 38-point second quarter.
Yeah.
Colin Shields ran for 158 yards and 2 touchdowns. Carson Denault had 103 yards and a score. Grady Wilson threw for a touchdown and got one with his legs. Tigers are getting healthy at the right time. Caleb Von Pressenton and Beckett Landrum are back on the field. How do we feel about Napavine?
I
good?
just said
Pretty
they're
solid,
going to
yeah.
win by 40, yeah.
Okay.
I'd write them in pen for the Final Four.
Yeah, I
and
think
not
they definitely
blink.
they definitely hit a little skid there, but I think it sounds like they're rebounding nicely.
Especially with the guys coming back healthy, too.
I mean, it's a skid by Napavine standards, not by normal standards.
Oh, they're only won by
Yeah.
30 this week, guys.
Yeah.
Red alert.
Things are looking down.
Yeah.
Does this get Josh Fay off the hot seat, though, is the question. After
Ah.
that,
If
that
Josh
rough
Fay can
stretch.
handle the Titans, I think he
Think
might be
so?
safe.
I
Yeah.
think the job's on the line this week.
As long as the boys tackle for him. I think they've learned how to tackle by this point of the year, block and tackle. So
We'll see. I don't know. Too early to say. Anyway, Toledo took care of Morton White Pass 43-8. They are up 27-0 after a quarter and 43-0 at halftime. We don't have a specific number of games on Toledo's home winning streak, but they haven't lost at home since 2018 or 2019, according to Mike Christensen, who Zach talked to after the game. And
Cody,
Mike
what'd you
said,
see in the first quarter there? First half.
Toledo looked really solid, and MWP looked really not. There was just Toledo was doing whatever they wanted to when they were running the ball, and at least they were getting at least 10 yards a carry, it seemed like. And a couple times, I have this game that I like to play with Zach and Dylan after Friday nights after we cover a game where I'll go through the series of photos I took during a run, and I'll show like a frame, and I'll be like, all right, do you guys think he scored on this play? Because it'll be one of those runs where like 5 defenders go and hit the kid at the same time and just all bounce off. It was kind of a lot of that for MWP. They just couldn't bring the ball carrier down, and a lot of times it's just the ball carrier should have been down a lot before he was, or a lot sooner than he was. And yeah, Toledo looked really good. They just ran the ball a lot because it was raining, but MWP not looked good. Didn't look
Okay.
And while we're talking about Toledo, I forgot to put it in the notes. Onalaska won 58-0 against La Jolla. Pretty standard Ani game. They just ran for 400 plus yards. And the reason I bring up Ani with Toledo is that those two teams are undefeated, and they'll play for a league title this Friday as well.
Okay.
In Onalaska.
Didn't Onalaska technically pick up 2 wins last week because they got the win-lock forfeiture as well?
Yes, but I don't think their overall record reflects the
I
win-lock
see.
win. I think it just goes to the league
Gotcha.
standings.
To round out the 2Bs and 1Bs, Rainier beat Tudor Lake 60-56 in a long, wild game. Do we have any more notes? We just
Lasted over 3 hours. We just saw updates on Twitter. From
That
Jordan
should have been
Malin.
the game of the week. It was the banger of the week.
It was like 10-15, and he's like, meanwhile, it's still going on, and it's 52-56.
Did Ruben King at the NVN, did he not have a gamer on that? Rainier
I
football
didn't
game?
look. I know he does a lot of Yelp
Should
stuff.
look. Come on.
give Rube a shot. He just wants to cover some football.
There's a statue for Rube on that campus, Rainier. They love that man.
There should be.
Is it decked out in Oregon?
Oh, yeah. Dripping.
Mossrock lost to Warrenton 7-2. Oakville beat Evergreen Lutheran 36-12. Oakville's Daniel Rodas may have set the 8-man career receiving record.
Yeah.
Not just the Oakville receiving record.
No, the
State
post
8-man.
said state 8-man.
Yeah.
There was a
Eh?
montage and everything.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. That's true. There was a montage.
Coach put it
I can
together.
confirm.
It's a highlight reel.
All right. Congrats, Daniel Rodas.
Maybe.
This podcast brought to you by Goebel Septic.
We have no idea.
Schwartz, when was the last time you dropped a deuce in a Goebel Septic Sandy can?
I'll never forget the last time. I stop at one on my way into work every day because, you can't get any peace at home with the kids. You can't trust the plumbing in this building.
That's true.
So I always pull off at stop between here and the launch and do my business, and then I get to work.
Yeah, and you're better for it every day.
I am. Yeah, very, very, very clean. They usually smell really good, no matter what you do to them. Just a great experience. I'd suggest it. If you ever see one when you're driving by a work site or something, just hop on out.
Yeah, just
give it a shot.
Give it a look. Septic service and portable sanitation provided for Thurston, Lewis, Mason, Cowlitz, and Grays Harbor counties. Septic pumping, inspection, and riser installation. Commercial septic pumping, grease trap services, porta potty rentals, portable sinks too. Well, you don't even let you wash your hands after you use the clean facilities.
I used one of those recently at a pumpkin patch. You use your foot to pump the water out.
Yeah.
Wash your hands there. And you can pet all the farm animals you want to.
Visit goebelseptic.com. That's GOEBEL septic.com or call 360-736-2167. Now let's move on to soccer, where the league standings are starting to take shape. Napavine beat Adna 4-0 on Monday, which sets up a showdown between the Tigers and the Loggers for the C2BL title tomorrow night, Wednesday night. Dylan was at Napavine Monday, and he also has an explanation for how the district tournament will work this season. Oh, thank God.
Just to let you know, Zach is he doesn't like many of the WIA district tournament brackets, and I'm certain he won't like this one. Starting with Napavine Adna, though.
I'll be outraged for him.
Adna kind of controlled the pace of play for the first 20, 25 minutes. And then Napavine's Maya Kunkel can just throw the crap out of the ball. So any throw in from like the 15-yard line and up is essentially just like a free kick because she can throw it into the box. That's how they scored their first goal. The Adna keeper, it kind of just got through her hands. And then Grace Pancake literally just kind of like puffed out her chest and it just went off her. And it was just one of those goals where even like Grace, like I was like trying to get celebration shots of her like celebrating, and she literally just kind of had like a slight smirk and she just shrugged and she just ran away. It's just one of those goals where it's like, all right, that kind of just opened the
Do you get an
floodgates.
assist on a throw-in?
I don't think so officially.
You should.
The stat sheet didn't.
I
have
did
an
learn
assist
this year
on
that
there.
offside rules don't apply on a throw-in.
Oh, I did not.
At least that's the case for youth soccer, of which I am a large fan, starting last year.
They should just get rid of offsides.
I agree.
Hot take.
I agree.
It sucks.
I
Kai
don't-
Sandridge,
I don't like it.
75 goals.
Is it a
Yeah.
hot take?
I don't. It is a hot take for probably not for people like us. The
Just
real
lame.
Change the
The
rules
lame-
of
purists.
the,
Lame
the world's
people.
most popular sport.
the real Euro football. heads
Napavine's
out there
coach-
just
This is
shaking their fist.
it is not the most popular sport.
John
where we
Bates
live, man.
is British. I
Worldwide,
feel
I
he
think
would
it
be
is.
opposed. He plays the game a certain way that he was taught back overseas.
Get rid of offsides, right?
He's a funny guy too. I was talking with him after, and like I could tell he was kind of in a rush to get out. He said he had a long drive after, so I was just trying to kind of ask him, quickly things, and he's like,
Is he late for tea?
and so I go like, obviously a big matchup with Ani. Just kind of what's your initial kind of assessment of what to expect that match? He goes, it'll be a surprise.
Hell yeah.
That was more Australian than anything. I shouldn't do accents, but anyways, district tournament. So
Yeah, lay it on me.
the C2BL and the P2BL are one league because not all of the P2BL teams field leagues. So I believe there's 10 listed, but I don't know how many games. RSB's, there's 10, sorry. Counting Raymond South Bend, even though they're listed as 0-0 in the league standings, but I think they've been playing games. Anyways, so the top 8 make districts.
Okay.
The 5 will play the 8, and the 6 will play the 7.
Uh-huh.
The loser of those games are out.
Okay.
The winners, keep in mind that they're there.
Yes.
On the other half, we'll call it, the 1 will play the 4, and the 2 will play the 3. These are traditional semifinals.
The losers of those play the winners of the first half. So
Yeah,
it's kind of like a
winner to
state basketball
games.
bracket a little
Yeah.
bit.
I kind of like that. Sorry,
not bad.
I can't get mad for Zach on that.
Oh,
It seems fair.
Ooh, we'll eat the corn. So the C2BL standings are Ani and Napfinder both 6-0, Toledo's 4-1-1, Adna's 3-2-1, Ocosta 3-4, Tunnel 3-3, Forks and Winlock 1-5, and Owako 0-7. Could 4 area teams make it to state? Presumably, those 4 teams would be Onalaska, Napfinder, Toledo, and Adna. Could it happen?
I think we got a good chance. I was talking with Kevin Stahl, the photographer who helps John over at Napavine, and we were just kind of chatting. I think it was just Adna and Ani last year that got to state from our area last year, but this year, obviously Toledo looks really good. They put up 7 yesterday. They have a ton of girls that could score a bunch of goals. I think it was Exton Norberg, Peyton Holter, Kaylee Larson, just a bunch of girls that could score. Adna's obviously, got the experience from last year. And yeah, the district tournament kind of lines up nicely to where all 4 of those teams just have to win 1 of 2. I certainly think it's a realistic possibility.
All right. In the 2As, Tumwater is 7-0 and still atop the EVCO. WF West and Centralia are both 5-2 and tied for second. Dylan was at Centralia's win over Shelton last week. And the Chronicle Cup is set for Thursday. And this is the 1-game Chronicle Cup.
Correct.
Okay.
Which
We're
was
taking all the
agreed to,
suspense out of
which
it.
was agreed to by both coaches before the first game. This was agreed to weeks ago.
I hope they changed their tune afterwards and they're both angry with you. Yeah, give us some sucker into who's going to win the Chronicle Cup.
I don't know, actually, to be honest. Centralia's offense has looked better as the season has gone along. It's obviously, Olivia Gerginski is someone that can score pretty much at any given time. But they've also just been, tinkering with formations and trying to get other girls involved as well. Jaslyn Corona, she's stepped up a bunch. And then obviously Braylee Blankenship is a stud in net for them. They've just slowly started scoring more and more goals, which is what Luis Magana has wanted to see from them. But obviously WF West, they've only lost to Tumwater, and I'm not sure who their other loss is off the top of my head. They're still solid, and they beat Centralia the first time 1-0, I believe. I think it'll be a great matchup.
All right. Anybody going to beat Tumwater, or are they pretty much locked in?
They're pretty much locked in at 1. They might lose a game, but...
All right. Moving to volleyball. Ada is perfect.
Finally.
And atop the C2BL, they're undefeated. Rainier and Ani are tied for second at 4-1 each. Masiraki is 3-1 and in fourth. Then you got Napvine, Tootle, MWP, Toledo, Winlock kind of rounding things out. We talked a couple weeks ago at how we think 4 teams could make it to state locally. Do we still feel that same way? It looks like it as far as the standings go.
Yeah, I'd still lean, Mossy, Ani, Adna, Rainier, and then insert Forks or Raymond South Bend or whoever is good in the Pacific this year. I think it was Forks last year that made it to a winner to state game at districts. Napavine is a team to me that if they get going, that week of districts, it's kind of a baseball mindset where it's like all you got to do is get in, and if you're hot that week, you're hot, and you could win a couple games and get through. I think it's more of a consistency thing just with the youth there. And, when we get there, the amped up pressure of a district tournament environment, how they would respond to that. But I would feel comfortable penning in Rainier, Ani, Mossy, and Adna, of course.
All right. On to the 2As. Your favorite league, Dylan. Tumwater topped Aberdeen last week to take sole possession of first place. Those 2 teams remain in first and second. Black Hills 3-3, 2 back of Aberdeen in third. WF West 1-5, 2 back of Black Hills for the third spot. Centralia's a half game back at WF West at 1-6. Is Tumwater, is there any chance they get bumped out of first?
I don't think so. I've heard, Centralia's coach Marty Smith said that they're even better than last year when she faced them. She thinks they're one of the best teams in 2A, and that's a team that made state last year. They should get back to state pretty easily this year. Centralia and WF West 1 win each, obviously, but with Shelton kind of just straight up not counting outside of, Shelton's in 4th currently, but they're really not because they got to do whatever they do in the 3As, which, sure. So WF West is really 2 back of a playoff spot with 4 or 5 to play still, and Centralia is kind of in the same boat, just a half game back. So the records don't look good at all, but kind of like what I just said with Napvine, if you get hot here at the end of the year and rattle off, 3 out of 4 or 4 out of 5, you could very easily still find yourself in the district tournament, which I believe will have 2 pigtail games this year instead of just the normal one between the 4 and the 5.
Oh, the intrigue.
Yeah.
I was told by a local photographer who will remain nameless that Tumwater girls volleyball team is not as expressive as other volleyball teams and kind of just is like machine-like and dominates and
I can see that.
doesn't smile a lot. Is that true? I'm asking you if you think the Tumwater girls lack personality.
I don't think so. I think
Yes.
Once you're up 15-5, the celebrations get a little more dulled down.
That's fair.
That's what Josh told me is get there early because they're going to be fired up for the first couple points. It's like when Napvine scores to go up 35 over 7-0.
Yeah,
It's
that
like,
makes
all right.
sense.
If you were a betting man, would you bet on a Tumwater Evco Triple Crown in team sports?
Yes.
Okay. It's easy enough.
I just had to process the question.
This podcast brought to you by Elam's Home Furnishings and Mattress Gallery. Schwartz, how are things at your house?
Oh, well, I'm glad you asked because I was the recent unwilling recipient of a garbage couch that my wife got used at a yard sale. And I was like, honey, we need to go to Elam's for the finest home furnishings. And it came down to either losing my wife or going to Elam's. I'm still not positive I made the right choice, but,
Well, you were at Elam's to shop for a new twin-size bed for your bedroom, correct?
Yes. Yeah, that was the hope anyways.
Did you get the new Serta iComfort from the Serta iComfort collection?
If I was going to get that particular mattress, I would only go to Elam's.
Hell yeah. I think you get a credit card discount on that bad boy too.
Oh, that's awesome.
They offer full body support, which I know you need with your flood legs.
I do.
Cooling comfort, you're often heated, especially on deadline.
It's true.
Pressure relief, oh, boy. Yeah, you should go pick yourself up and maybe even just a nice little twin bed.
This advertisement was written for you, man.
Elam's Home Furnishings and Mattress Gallery. Visit their showroom at 1530 South Gold Street in Centralia or check them out online, elamshf.com.
Elam should sponsor one of these abandoned offices up here on the second floor, some sort of demonstration room with its furniture where, podcasters can nap during the day,
Yeah.
etc.
Members of the newsroom can come take weird naps during the day.
Weird day naps. Happens all the time.
Also, we've got...
That couch is for
I sleep in here on the floor sometimes. You found the quilt.
Yeah.
If I get a migraine, this is where I go.
You hear this, Elam? See our situation up here? A quilt on the old carpet. Come on.
I lock the door so no one can come in.
fall through the floor at 3 a.m.
Right back into your own office.
It's creepy.
We've got updates from the 2A Golf District Tournament and Sub-District Tennis Tournaments. Who won those?
We'll start with tennis. Javen Hahn, WF West, finally won the singles championship yesterday.
Took like a week, didn't it?
Yes, because of rainouts and darkness. It ended up the final in the singles. It was him and Bodie Jackson, I believe. I apologize if I'm messing that last name up, but from Tumwater, they played 2 sets of the final, and then it was too dark, so they had to wait until Monday.
Oh, who could have seen that
finish it.
coming?
You're telling me. But yeah, Javen Hahn, WF West singles title. The Corwin brothers got done much quicker and won the doubles title. What felt like a year ago, but was last week. And then I got to pull up the app for golf, which is in Portland, by the way. Incredible.
I noticed you made the Corwin brothers our first ever double male athlete of the week for the community first auto centers. I don't know how I feel about that.
They have to share the sweatshirt.
I was going to
though.
say,
Yeah.
do they just
Oh,
rip it
I
in
didn't even
half?
think about the sweatshirt. I was just thinking, Bo Miller was like the football standout, but he got it a few weeks ago. And other than that, there wasn't.
Oh, no,
of,
I
like,
was happy
football
with it.
standouts.
I just was wondering.
You were upset.
I was
told
wondering
you
how they're
about
going to
it.
handle the sweatshirt situation.
I did
over
not
at
take
Community
that.
First. You really wrote the check.
I didn't
told
take that
them to
into
cash
account. I didn't take that into
They probably
account.
budget over there. Probably had exactly enough.
Do I owe them money?
Plus a pizza. They get pizza too. Do you think they each get a pizza, or
Nah, they split the
they
pizza.
split the pizza?
We're gonna get an invoice for a pizza and another sweatshirt
Probably.
that aren't mine.
We're gonna get catch hell from Brian Watson.
Who won golf? The Black Hills kid?
Oh yeah, he won the league tournament last week, but this is districts. Great thing about districts is that we don't know specifically how many spots they get.
Yeah, they
because
allocate
the
him in the
East does it in
spring.
the spring. Some of the top finishers, Tumwater's Braden Conrad was the best local finisher. He tied for 6th. Weston Potter finished in the top 10. Phoenix Flores, who won the league tournament, top 12. Jack Kassler, Black Hills should also be safe, tied for 14. And some of these guys on the bubble, Tumwater's Layden Beto, Zane Leposki, Liam Gustafson, Baylor Olson, and then WF Emmett Goodman, Jax Potter, Black Hills Kendall Roberson. All of those guys are kind of on the bubble and are kind of in wait and see mode for, unfortunately, the next 6 months probably.
Who won the overall tournament? Was it like a Woodland kid?
Was Shugel's Mason Acker.
Okay. This, you know what? Zach isn't here to tell us about cross country, so you're just gonna have to use your imagination, I guess.
Go on.
This podcast brought to you by
Do we have a
Ameri-
location on Zach? Are you tracking him in real time?
Just tell the people where Zach
Says
is.
Centralia.
Yeah, Centralia. He's here. I thought I felt his presence.
This podcast brought
It's
to
like
you by
Stranger Things, the lights start flickering.
Americool Heating and Air Conditioning. Your comfort is their business. They offer full service HVAC installation, services, and repair with a 100% satisfaction guarantee on everything they do. Visit their website, west.americoolonline.com, and click Request Service or get an estimate, or call 360-996-5806 for their 24/7 emergency service line. Call if you are too hot or too cold. And now, time for our Week 8 grid picks.
There's a column for you, Eric. Do you need the link?
No, I'm going to it right now. I'm in there.
Yeah, great. Oh, Zach
just
is
in
here.
time.
Oh, look
Oh,
at
man.
it. Look who it
Okay.
is.
Just
Oh, it was fun, guys.
With a fresh haircut and new
we
shoes.
can share a mic. All 5 of us on good picks.
I defended
Oh, man.
punting and corn for you while you were gone, Zach.
There's a chair right there. Why are you taking the headphones?
Someone needs to defend hunting and corn for me. I don't hunt.
Oh,
Oh,
right.
punting? Oh,
Punting.
yeah, absolutely defend punting.
Okay, give Dylan back it. This is just bizarre behavior. The madness we've come to expect from Zach arriving.
You should still do good picks by Eric.
Zach is
All right,
back.
Zach is here.
I've never left. It's week 8, baby. Let's go!
All right, time to preview the Week 8 grid
This is
picks
perfect.
board.
Let's go.
Grid picks overall season standings as of right now. Dylan 66-23. Zach 64-25.
God, I suck.
I am 73-16. Kody is 71-18. Ridley has dropped down to 68. And does she have a rough week?
I think she lost 2
68-21.
games last week.
And Chad is 61-28.
Shout out Ridley,
Yeah.
Paris for the biggest week of the year.
All right. So week 8 games. Aberdeen at Black Hills. Dylan's got Black Hills. What's everybody else got? We're just going to do these live on the air. Zach?
This is going to determine a crossover spot, I believe. Black Hills. I believe in Jackson Beck. He's going to get it done.
Oh, we could talk about it next week. The way the third spot is going, the third place team in the EVCO is going to have to play a play into the crossover.
Okay.
So they'll play Tuesday, and then their crossover would be Saturday.
Who's their crossover against? Or they're playing
Wait.
against?
It would be the
GSHL like 3 or 4? Or
5 or 6, I think. I want to say 5.
Oh, interesting.
And that, so not this upcoming Tuesday, but the Tuesday after week 9 would be that. I think it might even be like a shortened game. I'm not 100% sure, but it'll be something funky.
We're just making up rules as we go along here.
Well, at least they haven't changed the name of the league halfway through. Mossy Rock at Rainier. Mossy Rock coming off a 7-2 loss to Coopville, and Rainier coming off a 60-56 win over Tootle Lake.
The duality of man.
Yeah.
AJ Easley, when he was talking to Rochester, he was talking about that 7-2 game. This is what football is meant to be.
Zach, you probably saw that Rainier 2-Lake final score and were just beside yourself, right? Just
No.
disgusted?
No, I was not disgusted at all.
Won't somebody think of the punter?
I bet there was probably one punt. Maybe.
This is
We'll see.
random, but that SNL blackout skit when was it Keenan Thompson's? That's like, after 20 minutes, you start thinking, who on the team am I gonna eat first? The first obvious choice is the punter, but then late in the game when you need a punter, he's not there because you ate him. It's a funny skit if anyone wants to look that up later.
Good job. Good plug, Dylan.
Thanks, Dylan.
Great work.
An SNL skit from a decade plus ago.
Mossy Rocket Rainier.
Give me Rainier.
All right, we've all got Rainier in this one. Adna at Ilwaco.
Give me the Pirates. Fishermen have really dropped off since the 4-0 start. I think it's a product.
Cody,
of
you don't
Yeah,
have
all the homies say the fishermen fell off.
yeah, it's a product of a very very weak non-league schedule.
Fishermen went overboard. They're lost at sea.
God, you're full of great ones
Wow,
today,
Dylan's on a roll.
I can't reach the button.
Dylan. Fishermen are just less cool pirates.
I mean, they're just legal pirates.
This is
Yeah.
What the hell?
Deadliest catch. Good show.
Tudor Lake at Morton White Pass. Dylan's already got an MWP.
This is the one
What
that I
was
left
the
blank
Rainier
for the
Morton White Pass
longest.
score? Didn't they just
That
play?
was Rainier won that game, right, against MWP. That was like
Yeah,
week
Rain-
4.
so.
Rainier won.
That was early in the
I
year.
don't remember the score.
I don't think it was close. I think Rainier beat him pretty good.
Morton White Pass. Yeah, Rainier beat Morton White Pass.
How much?
I don't know. The scores aren't reflected on the Grid Picks board I'm looking at. Hold on. Why don't
Pause.
you guys talk about who you think is going to win this game?
This is going to be.
I didn't know who to pick in this one.
This is
the one I left
honestly a
blank for
very
the
interesting
longest.
game because Tudor Lake, I think, pretty sure they played their backup quarterback for most of that game against Rainier.
Rainier won that by 30.
I've seen Tudor
So
Lake
I'm going
twice.
Tudor Lake.
I've seen Tudor Lake twice now.
But it's at Morton White Pass. I
Mm.
don't know. What are you guys taking?
I went Morton White Pass. This is the game I left blank the longest, and I think at the end of the day, my reasoning was just to trust the athleticism. Earlier in the season, I've been talking about how Judah Kelly and Cohen Inglesby are the types of players that could elevate them to a couple wins over some of the lesser teams, and I think that was just my reasoning was to trust those two to kind of lift them in this game.
Okay.
If it was in-
I'll take Morton White Pass.
If it was in Tootle, I think I'd go Tootle, but the fact that it's in Morton,
You're playing
lead-
the board, not your heart, huh?
I think I'm going to go
I think
with
they're going to have a bounce back week after
I'm
the
gonna
game I
go
watched
with
against
Morton
Toledo
just-
last week.
because they're at home.
Okay.
That's a hike for Tootle. Like that's a decent hike for Tootle, isn't it?
Hey, yeah.
Is it
it's-
Morton or White Pass? Do we know? Two very different places to play.
That's true. Let's see.
I think it's Morton. This might be wrong. I want to say they play all their games, all their football in Morton because that's a nice
Is there football in
football
Morton?
stadium.
Right, Randall's got a nice.
No,
Yeah,
Morton-
that's right.
Morton
They
does
play
not
in
have a stadium.
Randall. They play in Randall.
Oh, they play in
Chris
Randall?
Johnson was telling me that
The only stadium in Morton is the Jubilee Arena.
they played
Yeah.
their first 2 games in Morton, and then the rest of the season their home games are at Randall.
Yeah, Randall actually has a stadium.
Do you know
Where did I
at one point when they built
went to
it,
Morton.
the track around, like the track and field track around the stadium in Randall is like, I think they put it in yards instead of meters, so they can't use it for like official meets.
That reminds me of like
I heard
I'm
that.
way off. It's a White Pass.
That's like they can't play playoff football games at PL because the field's not wide enough.
Yeah,
like,
it's
from
too
track
narrow.
to track.
Like a couple feet too.
Yeah, it's like 2 feet too narrow.
Winlock at Coopville. Oh, they're at Coopville?
Ooh,
I'm rocking with Coopville again this week.
Just can't get off that Coopville kick. Coopvilleaholic.
I have.
I'll
to.
go.
Dylan, our premier Coop villain.
Nice.
I'm gonna.
Why?
Does anybody else have a pick?
I went Coopville.
Coopville.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Coopville.
Sorry,
I'm
man.
sorry, Winlock. It's
Yeah.
nothing against you.
Winlock is a rebuilding year.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Napavine at
God
PL
bless everyone.
Valley, and this is in Menlo,
This is in
correct?
Menlo.
This is in Menlo.
Tough place to play.
I don't.
At
Is
Krogstad
that?
Field. It's
Krogstad
a
Field?
banger.
There's a whole mountain in the middle of that thing. You're never running on flat ground at Krogstad Field.
It's like the old Adna football field
Yeah.
where if you stand on one end zone, you can't see the other end zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is Josh Seymour, former Napavine coach, going up against his mentor Josh Fay. So the mentor against the mentee.
Do you think he has the upper hand on Josh?
Absolutely not.
No,
I'm going
You know all
all
his
his
secrets.
no.
Wait, how flat is the field? Does he literally have the high ground or no?
Depends which sideline you're on, I guess.
I'm going Napavine, but I do think this game is competitive into the fourth quarter.
All right, Cody.
I do not.
I gotta go with Napvine, even though it will be a tough place to play.
Rochester at Tenino.
Rochester.
Dylan has already penciled in Rochester,
Yeah, I've
written
got-
it in pen.
I've got Rochester.
He hasn't penned it. He's Sharpied Rochester.
Yeah,
I've
Rochester.
also-
Sharpie.
Rochester,
Rochester.
obviously, super impressive win last week against Montesano. I don't know. Tenino's strength of schedule
And-
lately just hasn't really been there, has it?
Well, and
They played Hoquiam.
they're also
They played
banged up.
Hoquiam.
And they're bent up, yeah.
And they're banged up.
I kind of didn't give them enough credit earlier when Aaron said, "Are they back?" They did beat. They took care of business against Hoquiam and
Hoquiam.
and no disrespect to them, but like that's what good teams do against bad teams. Ha. I don't know. And if anyone's wondering why this is at Tenino again after it was at Tenino last year, it's because now that they're in the same league, Rochester kind of just slides into whatever the league rotation was.
Technicality.
And it just happened to be that this year Rochester would go to Tenino, take it up with your local 1A Evergreen League scheduler for
Rochester
with
won
any
last year,
complaints.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Toledo at Onalaska. This one.
Onalaska.
This is where it gets good. Dylan's got Ani
Dylan,
down.
No hesitation. I still don't know to right now to pick in this game. I'm just gonna have to pick one of them, I guess.
Okay, I'm picking Ani, and here's the main
Do you
reason why.
want to flip a coin, Cody? And whichever one you get, you take, and I'll take the other one.
Yes.
Ooh, somebody's got a coin. Let's flip them.
Deal.
Hey Siri,
Put her in the mic.
I'll take tails.
I got heads.
flip a coin.
Well, this is for Cody's
Oh,
pick.
it's heads. It didn't announce it, but it's heads.
Wait, you were well, I was heads. Wait, I still
Yeah,
have to
you
pick.
were ahead.
Okay,
I still have
this
to
is
pick.
Cody's pick. Flip it again. Heads is Onalaska, tails is Toledo.
Flip a coin. All right, didn't it's heads again, but it just didn't say it.
All right,
I don't know why it's not saying
Give
it.
me
out loud.
Onalaska.
I'm never a doubt.
I'm,
So
pick-
then you have Toledo then, right?
I'll take Toledo. Yeah.
I'm
All
picking
right.
Ani for one specific reason. I think Rodrigo Rodriguez is going to have 2 special teams touchdowns, and that's going to be the difference.
Ooh, okay.
This is
Is that a
Zach.
lead? Is that a lead pipe lock? Lock it in.
We got to bring that back.
Lead pipe lock of the week.
Lock it
Rodrigo
in.
Rodriguez.
2 special teams touchdowns.
Special teams touchdowns.
Lock it in. What are the odds
Ooh.
on that?
Aaron,
What?
Breaking news.
who you got?
Oh, for this one, Tumwater and WF West.
Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. I completely forgot.
Yeah, I took
you guys
Toledo.
just did a coin flip
Yeah,
thing.
we just.
Oh, yeah, Toledo.
One more thing on Ani. I'm gonna have a very similar reasoning for Tumwater here in a second. Me taking Ani, I don't mean it as a slight to Toledo. I'm just trusting.
Sounds like a slight to Toledo.
I'm just trusting the pedigree and the consistency of Ani that they've shown over the last, not that Toledo hasn't either, but anyways.
I think it's going to, my final score prediction, 36-30. Ani wins.
I think that Ani has a slight advantage too, just because of how late in the season it is, just with field conditions and weather. Just because
Yeah, that's a good point.
I would-
Ani's
Ground and
field
pound, baby.
is terrible year round, but this late in the season, it's just a. I know. You have to Ani's field this late in the season. You have to like run 4 steps before you even move. Like there's no traction at all, and I think that Ani's gameplay is better suited to those conditions than Toledo's.
Okay.
I think that will
No,
impact it a lot.
I would rather play Ani early in the season than late in the season. Because
If
right
this game were on turf-
now, Maz has got it kind of figured out.
If
Or-
this game were on turf, I think honestly Toledo would have an advantage. That's just me though.
All right, we move to Tumwater at WF West. Now, I have actually spent time thinking about this the last few
Really?
days. Yeah, I have. I've been.
I've spent
Aaron's been
since
losing.
I've spent since Swamp Cup thinking about this.
I think you've
Aaron's been
spent
losing
since week like
sleep.
3.
Well, I mean, I've spent a long
since
time
we,
thinking
since
about
we
this
both
one.
since we realized both teams are legit.
We've been waiting all year for
Yeah.
week 8.
Yeah.
Well, what has
yeah.
your research led you to, Aaron? Who do you got?
So
Lay it on us.
I crunched some numbers. And I'm sure you guys have done this as well. You guys know me. I'm not an analytics guy. I'm a manalytics guy.
This Aaron's a that boy nice watcher.
Yeah.
So what does that?
So anyway, Tumwater. Here's
one who
the
knows
tail of the tape for you guys. Tumwater 7-0, WFS 7-0. Tumwater has outscored its opponents 372 to 61. WFS has outscored its opponents 297 to 54. Now this is where it gets interesting.
So I'm hearing Tumwater's got a weak defense. That's what it sounds like to
The
me.
combined record of Tumwater's opponents through 7 weeks is 24-24. This is their current record, not the record they had when they played them. 3 of those 7 teams have winning records right now. The combined record of WF West's opponents through 7 weeks is 15-34. And 2 of those teams have winning records now. And those 2 teams are the 2 teams they played in weeks 1 and 2. And those 2 teams are both 4-3.
So every other team they've played has a losing record?
The last 5 teams they have played now have losing records. And those losing records are 0-7, 3-4, 2-5, 1-6, and 1-6. Tumwater has played Nooksack Valley, which is 6-1, Bainbridge, which is 5-2, Black Hills, which is 3-4. But we've seen Black Hills; they're fine.
Right.
They beat them 62-0. So Tumwater's they played more people. They played better teams.
So it sounds like by your analytics, it sounds like taking WF West in this game would be kind of playing on an upset then.
It would be planning on an upset. I'm not saying I don't want WF West to win. I'm not saying I won't be very happy for WF West if they win. But as Kody and I are locked in Mortal Kombat on the board, and I cannot
Are we flipping a coin?
and I cannot leave a single pick up to chance.
I'm not flipping a coin on this one. I know who I'm picking.
I am going to take Tumwater, but I will be rooting for WF West.
As much as I need to differentiate myself from Aaron, I think I have to pick Tumwater on this one too.
You fool.
If I pick WF West and you win again and you win the Toledo Ani game, I will be out of the running for grid picks for the year, and I can't afford that.
With 1 league left until we go double or nothing in the playoffs.
Double or nothing.
We can go double or nothing.
Oh.
You guys want to put some money on it?
Oh
or?
well, let's. I've already got money.
Oh
on
yeah.
fantasy.
Chat, are we legally allowed to gamble on high school?
Yeah, no, I don't think
That's easy to offer when you're sitting in first, buddy.
It is.
All right, Dylan.
It's gonna be like that pool player. We'll play for some money.
Dylan took Tumwater.
I took Tumwater as well.
Okay.
Zach?
Will Zach go against the Tide?
Come on, Zach.
You know who's got WF West?
Chad.
Chad Taylor. So you guys
Chad
need
definitely has
someone.
WFS. Okay,
Just
so
know Chad
here's-
Taylor's on your back.
So-
Or on your side.
The logic to pick Tumwater is they have absolutely played a much more difficult schedule. They have
Yes.
they have tested themselves. They have shown that no matter who they play, they are going to stick to their identity and not go against it in the slightest bit. The case for WF West is, in my opinion, I think they have more overall offensive talent. I think Gage Brumfield will be the best player on the field that day. I think Tucker Land will be the best runner on the field that day.
It's not ridiculous.
I think
It's not ridiculous.
the case against WF West is their non-league schedule, I think, was set up to test them, and it just went against them in the long run. I think when Dan Hill made that schedule, he thought that Timberline, Battleground, North Kitsap would have better records. It has not worked out that way.
That's a good point. Those are all historically pretty solid.
Now, maybe
teams.
that's because just WF West is that much better, or maybe it's that those teams just had down years, and then that happens.
WF West, it's worth pointing out, has also only played one team that had a winning record at the time they were going into the game, and that was Battleground, which has lost 2 games since then.
Mm-hmm. And look, I think all week 1, we all figured North Kitsap would win just because of the tradition that North Kitsap has. They went to the semifinals last year, and then WF West was clearly better then. So,
And Battleground was their closest game so far. Right?
You're really winding us up for this, Zach.
I am taking WF West.
There we
Let's go.
34-31. Gage Brumfield has 4 total touchdowns.
I like the spiciness of this.
There's a new hero in Chehalis this week, baby. It's Zach Martin.
Zach is just going to get free dinner at Dairy Dan as long as he lives. All right, we've got our picks in for those. We also have Centralia at Sultan. Dylan, you've taken Sultan. I have taken Sultan. Do we know anything about Sultan?
No.
I know nothing about Sultan.
I know nothing about
taking
Sultan,
them.
but
Give
I
me
am
Sultan.
I am also taking
Jeez,
Sultan.
let's see what's Sultan's there.
What's the record?
They beat Linwood 42-14 last week. All right, I guess I'm Sultan.
Do we know anything about Linwood?
I'll take Sultan.
I mean,
I've heard enough. Give me Sultan.
Sultan's mascot is the Turks, which I also find hilarious.
Oh,
Nice.
ooh.
What's a Turk?
Like it's a person from Turkey,
No, I
right?
don't. No,
Isn't it?
No, I don't.
What do you think it is, Zach?
I don't know, but I don't think it's a person from Turkey.
What is a Turk?
Pull it up, Aaron.
A native or inhabitant of Turkey.
Oh,
All right, well then I'm an idiot. idiot, per usual.
Hang on.
Just a reminder, this guy just picked Chehalis.
Hang on. They don't play football down in Turkey, I don't think. This is beginning to sway beginning to sway my thoughts. I don't know about this.
Somebody from the Ottoman Empire could also be a Turk.
Maybe if they were like the Iowans, I'd consider.
Who can punt farther, the Turks or the Iowans?
Turks or Iowans.
Yeah, pretty much every definition, even the slang, are just people from Turkey.
Yeah.
Is that
Let's go
Turks and
is that the
Caicos?
slang? Like, is there a formal way to say someone from Turkey, or is Turks like the slang version?
what up,
of a
you
longer-
Turk?
Probably a Turk.
Oh,
Whoa.
Whoa.
You don't have to say it with hate in your voice.
Turkey.
I've got no problem with anyone
A
from
person
Turkey.
from Turkey is called a Turk.
Okay.
Well, see,
It's
enough.
not
Yeah.
really any
There's no hate in
ambiguity
there.
here. Anyway, Zach, you going?
Sultan.
I know you hate the Turks. Are you going Centralia?
no, I'm going Sultan.
Okay.
Noted Turk hater, Zach Martin.
Okay.
Turk confirmed, not a slur. It's just what you call people from Turkey. We looked it up.
I'm glad we cleared all that up.
Just for the
Sounds
record.
derogatory.
Can any of you
It
guys
sounds a
name
little
one
derogative, you
city
can't
in
lie.
Turkey?
Istanbul?
Yeah.
Is Istanbul in
Istanbul.
Isn't that
Yeah,
Turkey?
okay.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's the only city I know in Turkey.
Is that the capital?
I think.
It's the largest
Probably.
city in Turkey, and it is currently 3:06 a.m. over there.
Good morning.
I don't know why the
Good
first
morning
link was
to
a
all our
clock, but-
Istanbul, Turkey listeners.
All your fired up listeners tuning in.
To Week 8 Southwest Washington football.
If John
All right.
Bates can come to Kalama and Napavine, Washington from England to coach soccer, we could have someone who cares about these schools in Turkey.
Fair enough.
I
I
think.
disagree.
I also
I think it would have to
disagree.
be like someone from here going to Turkey to teach American football.
Or English.
Yeah, okay. Fine.
All right. Are
They
you
don't
guys
speak-
ready to talk about
I bet they speak English.
the game of the week?
Game of
We
the
have
week.
two options
Just
for the
two.
game of the week,
Just
presented by Home Carpet Warehouse and Cabinets, and also the Farm Store with its doorbuster deals.
For a door-busting week 8.
These picks gonna bust through the door any second now. Tumwater WFest or Toledo at Onalaska. Two good options.
enough.
Two solid.
I wanted to
solid
say
options.
2 top 5 matchups, but RPI is dumb and has WFest at 10th somehow.
Where's the coaches poll have them?
The coach's poll hasn't come out this week yet. So.
Well, I'm going with 2 top 5 matchups.
Toledo
Trust the coaches.
on Alaska definitely is a top 5 matchup.
I think Ani was
You
like
can make
6
the
or 7
argument that they're
RPI.
the two best 2B teams in the state. I mean,
100%.
yeah, that's a huge matchup. And I guess if WFS Tumwater is top 5, we'll have to see how WFS performs. Because from Aaron's stats, it sounds like they really got to prove themselves.
I thought that was going to be a 1-2 matchup in terms of the coaches poll, but Archbishop Murphy actually jumped into the top 2 after they beat
Yeah, but I mean,
Anacortes. So
didn't I think Archbishop Murphy lost this week. I saw they
I'm
were,
not sure.
they were trailing at half. I never saw a final, but I think they may have lost, which would be interesting. Beat Anacortes and lose the next week.
Interesting.
they lost to Linden 7-3.
But how does Archbishop Never mind. Just gonna. Anyway, so
Clean exit.
Tumwater WFest or Toledo Onalaska. Do we have an update on the poll there?
It just got posted like half an hour ago.
Oh,
So it's a little late to the party in terms of getting up. But Tumwater WF West is up 24-6 in the Instagram poll. And it is up 79% of 19 votes in the Twitter poll. But the last time I checked Facebook, I believed Toledo and Ani had an early lead.
Toledo Facebook has been just A+ when it comes to game of the week votes.
As soon as that
That's
post-
where most of the Toledo votes will come. Everything else will go Tumwater WF
Holy cow.
West.
Facebook post is already getting a lot of traction. It's been up for an hour. 45 for Tumwater WF West and 39 for Toledo Ani.
Interesting.
once that post hits a Riverhawk Facebook group where the
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
It's going to sway.
T-Birds and the Bearcats are cooked.
You got till 10 a.m. Friday.
Yeah, if you want
I
Tumwater
pick
buddies, you gotta-
times at random. We pick times at random. There's no rhyme.
I mean,
or
we
reason.
make things up as we go along here.
just like the W.
So on the RPI board, yeah, Tumwater is number 1, Franklin Pierce 2, WF West is 10. They're the lowest ranked undefeated team of
I
the
don't
1,
get that at
2,
all.
5 remaining undefeated teams.
Strength of schedule.
Yeah, I just broke down the numbers. That's
Yeah.
how they work.
That's how
Fair.
RPI works, right?
Yeah, it is. It's
That's fair.
25% your record, 50% your opponent's record, and 25 your opponent's record. That's how it
That
used to be.
sounds right.
Giving me
Yeah.
BCS versus AP vibes.
Sure. Where'd you go to college again?
Arizona State.
Okay.
The BCS,
Yeah,
the computers versus the AP, the people with the eye tests. They clash sometimes.
Literally, Iowa State broke the BCS in 2011. That's where I went.
Weird flex, but okay.
It broke it.
Uh-huh.
It did.
You could say it shucked it.
Shut up the
It shucked it. Shucked the BCS.
Shucked it hard. The Toledo Onalaska matchup is a 2-6 matchup based on RPI. Toledo is 2. Onalaska is 6. Onalaska 7-1. Who'd they lose to?
Nooksack Valley, week 1.
Oh, right. Nooksack Valley is that's a quality loss. They're good.
Yeah, they were a 1A semifinalist last year.
And I think that's
They lost to Tumwater.
Yeah, Nooksack's
Their only loss was to Tumwater 49-12 back in week 4.
It's impressive.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but you know what? I'll stand by my Toledo pick that I came by earnestly and not by flipping a coin. Any other thoughts before we close out of here?
He didn't want to crunch the numbers to Toledo on you like he did Tumwater WF West.
That was more of a gut feel pick.
Fair enough.
I didn't touch on it because I forgot, but the 2B, so there's a C2BL West and a C2BL East.
Uh-huh.
Joke's on me. I thought, 4 teams get a crossover spot. That means that one from the West would play the East from the 4, West 2, East 3, and so on, right? No. What a fool I was for thinking it could be so simple. No, alas, it is much more complex. So
What? Oh my God. Am I gonna?
I don't know what division it is. There's a North that contains
Still?
What?
So the 2 teams that will probably come out of the North in terms of a crossover berth is Coopville and Friday Harbor. Let's say,
Oh, yeah, District 1.
yeah. So District 1. Let's say that Friday Harbor, the top team up there is going to get in, and then the way I was explained to it is that they glued in, finger quotes. So the way I was explained is that the second team, let's say for example, it ends up being Friday Harbor, they get thrown into a pool with the 5th place teams from both C2EL divisions, and they average out those 3 teams' rankings from Sportsbook Live, Max Preps, and Matt Evans' site. And the top team from those 3, the best average ranking, gets the 10th crossover spot.
Jesus Christ. What are we doing?
Yeah.
I hate that. No.
I hope I have that right.
Everything about this.
Where can somebody go to vote in the Game of the Week poll? I just need to wash this out of my head.
Cronline Sports on Twitter, the Chronicle Sports on Facebook, and the Chronicle Sports on Instagram. On Instagram, like the comment that has the game.
Don't just write down the game you want to see. It
Like
doesn't
it.
count.
We will shame you.
Same on Twitter.
I should publicly
There's a
shame the
poll.
people from
There's a poll in the
last
first
week.
reply.
All right, we're going to close out there. Enjoy the Game of the Week, and good luck to everybody on the Grid Picks board.